For this thing today, I would like to share how to change font style automatically in Excel. For example, let's say we would like to change the first word of the statement to bold, the second to italic, and the third to underline. If let's say we just have one statement in a cell, then it's not difficult for us to change. However, let's say we have to update every time we added a new statement, then this is a bit annoying because we have to change every time we done typing. So what can we do here is basically we can ask VBA to help us to auto update everything for us. Let's try. So we go to Developer tab. We just click the current sheet. Since we want the thing to be done automatically, so we choose the worksheet and we change to change instead of selection change. So the one that not using, we can actually remove it. In this tutorial, we are going to assume that user going to press the enter key every time finish typing. So what we have to do here is make use of the offset function to move back to the previously entered cell. So active cell dot offset. When we press enter, we will move to the next row. So we have to move to the previous row so that we can back to the previously entered cell. So we should select this. Then what we have to do here is to change to amend the style accordingly. Since we are going to change the first word, the second, and the remaining, so which means that we have three categories here. So we are going to use three dummies. So F to stand for the first one. We are going to call the application function, the worksheet function, application dot worksheet function. What we want to call is the search function so that we can search where is the space located. So we are going to search the space in the selection, which means that within the verse, the statement in the selection in the cell, we search the space. So the space will be the position, F will be the position of characters that we found the first space. After that, we should have the second. So the second word should be in between the first space and the second space. So we have to make sure that application dot worksheet, again we use back the same function dot search. But for this time, we have to be careful. If let's say we use back exactly the same that what we typed previously in the previous line, so in this way, then actually we are going to get exactly the same result. So what we have to do here is to indicate the starting character. The third argument is to define the starting character. We have to bear in mind that F is the one that included the space. What we want to do here is ignore the space and continue from the next character, which means that we have to take from F plus 1. So that this can help us to find the second space without including the first space. So this is correct. Then the last one should be the remaining. So we will have to simply take the length of the entire statements that we have, then we minus up to the second space. So we already counted the length of each words that we should have, the length of characters for each words that we have. Now we should change the style. To change the style, we just have to refer to the selection and amend accordingly. So let's say we are firm with all the coding part, all the words that we should type, so we can straight type selection and dot. As we can see, if we type selection dot, we don't have any suggestion. So if let's say we are not familiar, we are not firm, then we just have to use cells, then we dot. As we can see, we will have their suggestion here. So what we have to do here is to change the characters. So we take characters. So what we need to do here is to let the Excel know what is the start characters, the starting character, and what is the length of the word. So we will have start is equal to, so for the first word, of course, we start from the first character, and the length will be exactly equal to f minus 1. Bear in mind that f included the space. Then we should minus 1. Basically, we don't minus 1 also doesn't matter because we're changing the space also no effect at all because we cannot see anything here. Then what we want to do here is to change the font to bold type. So of course we need to turn it be true because we want to make it become bold. So what we have to do now is change cells to selection. So this is the trick that we can learn so that we can have suggestion. Then after that, what we have to do, we just copy and paste. So now we should start from the character after the space, the first space. F is the one included the first space. So which means that F plus 1. And now what is the length of the second word? Second word will be in between the two spaces that we have, which means that we take F minus F. That's it. Then what we need to do here is to change to italic. So we just type in small capital letter, then we move on to the next line. If let's say change to capital letter of the first letter, then which means that the syntax is correct. Then the last one, copy paste. Now we want to change to S plus 1, similar to the second line. After the space, so plus 1. After the space, so plus 1. Then it's supposed to be until the last character of the words. So we have underline. And we done. We have to take note that since we assume that user going to press enter every time finish typing, which means that let's say the user is just intended to delete the statements that in the first row, then this definitely will result in error because first row is the topmost row in Excel, which means that if we apply offset minus 1 for the row, then definitely will result in error because Excel don't know where to go since it's already the topmost. Then what we have to do here is we can actually ignore this. When we have error, we shouldn't perform this. And in VBA, we know that we have one statement called on arrow resume next. But the problem here is if this line with arrow, then this fact definitely also an arrow. Then we cannot perform anything here. Then what we have to do here, instead of resume next to the next line, we should end this process. Then what we have to do here, we can use the could end. So we are going to ask Excel to end the process. Then what is this? We can label as 1. So we should go to 1. So which means that if this is an arrow, then what we have to do, go to 1. Where is 1? 1 is here, which means that we should end this. Then of course, how if let's say the user type only one word without any space? This will be another error as well. Because if let's say just a word, of course we don't have space. So what we have to do, also the same. So on arrow go to 1. So every time arrow and every time arrow and okay, we can try to see what happened. So see our result. So we have, let's say sing Excel. So as we can see, automatically change first word to bold, second to italic, and the last to and the remaining to underline. And let's say I overwrite this and then just type bold. As we can see, will still be in bold because previously the first character in this cell is in bold style. So which means that Excel did not change back to regular. Then what we have to do here is, of course, we can write a code to ask the Excel to change back to regular. For example, we can write it here. So the cells, we can write all the cells to, or just the selection dot font style to regular, and we see the result again. So we are going to type again whoa. So as we can see, now change back to regular. Hi, also regular. Oh, let's say today is a nice day. So as we can see, first one bold, second italic, and the remaining underline. Okay, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you like this. See you.